Now let's discuss ways to practice these different stroke types in a warm-up routine that will become standard in a percussion classroom. The first exercise is called 8 on a hand, which practices full strokes. Quite simply, 8 eighth notes on the right hand followed by 8 eighth notes on the left hand. Now, it's important that students play with a nice full wrist turn and that they are not shy about hitting their practice pad or hitting the snare drum. Very, very important to get a very, very loose and relaxed feel, letting the stick and the rebound of the drum do the majority of the work. To practice down and up strokes, we use an exercise called bucks. Quite simply, one measure of eighth notes, accented and tapped on the right hand, followed by one measure of eighth notes, accented and tapped in the left hand. We should clarify, a tap is a short, quiet note associated most often with an upstroke, that you tap the drum and lift the stick back up. Here's an example of the exercise bucks. When performing bucks, it's important for students to remember to have the back of their hand closed and for the ring finger to be gently touching the palm. It's also important for students to constantly be working towards a greater difference between the high downstroke and the low upstroke. The greater the difference between the accented note and the tapped note, the better off the student will be. You are expanding dynamic range in this situation. The higher the accent and the lower the tap. Double beat. This exercise is to develop what will become double stroke rolls. It includes 2 quickly repeated full strokes. It's a 1 measure rhythmic pattern on the right and 1 measure on the left, and it is repeated. It's important for students to remember that even though rhythmically the exercise is different, that they are still performing full strokes. The grip should be very, very relaxed, and they should think of throwing the stick at the pad, letting this rebound, the flex of the stick, gravity, the forces acting upon the stick to do the majority of the work. Good analogy is a horse and a jockey. The jockey tells the horse where to go, but the horse is the one doing the work. Your wrist initiates the motion, tells the stick what to do, and the stick and the drum do the work. Now we come to our first two-handed exercise. We have worked on full strokes using the exercise 8 on a hand. Now we're going to combine the two hands together to create 16th note and sextuplet patterns. This exercise is called Hupped Up. A useful teaching tool that drummers have used since the beginning of percussion instruction, probably from the dawn of time, are word association analogies, or vocalizing the rhythms before you play them. This dates back to when percussionists didn't read music and learned music by rote. So I often teach this exercise that we call Hupped Up, using the words Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Mountain Dew, Pepsi, Mountain Dew, Mountain Dew. Other words for 16th notes include California, California, or triplets include pineapple, pineapple. I also make percussionists sing all of their rhythms using kind of standard percussion lingo, including hupped up, digga digga, hupped up, digga digga, hupped up, digga da digga da, hupped up, digga da digga da dut. Oftentimes I find that if a student cannot say the exercise, that they cannot play the exercise. If it seems that students are having trouble playing as a group, having them sing the exercise once together before playing it is a very useful tool for cleaning up the exercise. The next exercise is called ones and twos. Simply put, it's a measure of 16th notes singled and a measure of 16th notes doubled. I'll play it once slowly for you. Ones and twos, again, is incorporating full strokes, singled and doubled. It is most important that the sound produced by the singles and doubles is as close to the same as possible. Common errors are the singles to be loud, the doubles to both rush, and for the second note of each double to be quieter than the first. An example of it done incorrectly. In this situation, you're getting a distinctly different sound in the doubles than you are the singles. The goal is to make it as even as possible. That if we recorded it without video, that the listener would be unable to tell if the percussionist is playing singles or doubles. An example of it done correctly. The last exercise we'll be discussing is called 16th note timing. This incorporates full strokes playing the 4 basic styles of 16th note rhythms encountered by beginning percussionists. When performing this exercise, it's important that students play the sticking indicated. Drumming is a very physical activity, and through repetition we create muscle memory. The action and motion of the hands has as much to do with the flow musically as any other aspect of the technique. The first 2 repetitions of the exercise have the right hand playing 1/8 notes straight through. We'll play the first 2 repetitions. The right hand is consistent, playing essentially what amounts to 8 on a hand. The left hand is added in to create the rhythm. This is going to create a smooth sound. It's going to keep things in time. And through consistency in motion, eliminates the possibility for further error. Oftentimes, percussionists make mistakes when things change. Switching from one hand to the next, switching from one note value to the next, changing from one drum to the next, so forth and so on. If we can eliminate the amount of changes, we're eliminating as many possibilities for mistakes. The second half of the exercise, the left hand remains constant. An example of the second half of the exercise. Again, the left hand stays constant and the right hand is added in order to create the rhythm.